My name is Vapid obviously, and today, because I don't have any ideas and I want to get a video out at least every week once, I thought I'd do a room tour. Now, I haven't done one of these since, gosh, like 2017, so a pretty long time, guys. So we'll just start at the door. It's got fire door, keep shut, because all of the videos I make in this room are fucking fire. They're always bangers. We've got all of my jackets here, if they want to focus. This is my favourite one, it's my Levi's, but I've also got my gilet, and I've also got this Barber one right here. Oh, it's a bit, might need to go in the wash that. I don't know if you can see that, but it's a bit mucky. Onto this one. This is a work in progress. As you will see with a lot of this room, is that I'm doing stuff. It's in the moment. It's currently being worked on, especially for the fact that I need a lot of inspiration for what I want to do with these types of stuff. Now, this is the film festival I worked on, and I'm just very proud of it, especially for this like bit of graphics that I did for it. We sold these at the Odeon in sort of like the not the main hall, but like the, you know, where you buy the tickets, the ticket office. And then there's one that my friend did, and that's only on paper. However, this is on a, I don't think it's photo paper, but it's on a nice decent quality, and it's also been packaged like a piece of artwork. Then we have and then the Dreamcast, my favourite console of, would it have been the 6th or 7th generation, maybe even the 8th. It's my favourite console, love the design, love the aesthetic, and it's just a sad story at the end of the day. I did make a video on the Dreamcast, however, I don't suppose any of you watched it. Now, this is the meat and potatoes. Let that focus. So that is my main desk. This is where I sleep. As you can see, there's Bearsley. Funny thing about Bearsley, we'll get that into a bit. Got a wardrobe full of my clothes. My favourite piece of item is that one right there. Bags, nothing a note. Toilet paper for all those stinky winky poo-poos. Hairdryer. But before we go on to the desk and all that, we have got this. Now, what is this apart from a tote bag hanging on a door? It is my shower. Let's start with the bed first. Also, we've got my dirty washing and my shoes. We've got Jordan 1 2090 B-Trues, my Caramores, and my work shoes. That's my washing bag times 2. As you can see, there's a Stadia controller, but we've got Road Trip Roy, we've got Bearsley, and then we also have my VST hoodie. Absolutely love the colours on this design. Shout out to Coordination once again. Got Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 3. As you can see, I have fixed it. There's not, basically I took the screen protector off. Why won't it focus? It really doesn't want to focus on the, there we are. It looks a lot better now, obviously minus the fingerprints. Don't know if I'll make a follow-up video on my Z Flip 3 review. We'll see. So, hoodie, Road Trip Roy, Stadia controller. Now, I've been using the Stadia controller to play Sonic Frontiers, and it's actually a really good controller. It's not all the way there, and there's obviously things that they could have worked on. However, for what it is, for the fact I only bought it for £25, this is a really solid controller that came with a Chromecast, basically. And I think that will sum up my Chromecast video, which Chromecast, the only thing useful about it. My Stadia video, whenever that gets made, probably in the new year when the service shuts down. Now, we've got a bag puss as well that should be in the car, so with Road Trip Roy, hence the name Road Trip Roy. Now, the thing with Bearsley, if you are part of the UK Federation Force, you'll remember BHS. Now, Bearsley is indeed from BHS, if that will focus, and I didn't know that until after the fact when they closed. So that is one cool little thing about Bearsley. Don't know the story about him, neither Bagpuss. I think Bagpuss was at my nan's, and I saved both of them. There's also a hot water bottle there that I saved, including the Squishmallows. I believe that's Sunny, and that's Arth. So if we go down here, we can see just sort of books for leisurely reading. That Diamond Pandora, not for me, for someone else. And then we also got my light, which is part of my light setup for my videos. I won't show them today. I'll do that when I do more of a setup, my setup type video. If we move Sunny and Arthur, you will see the Stadia, because it's just such a big box for not a lot, and I didn't know where to put it. And then an Elgato and a screwdriver set, which is always come in handy. Every man, every woman, everybody should have one. And then a Switch Joy-Con grip for some reason. Oh, and a MacBook. We need a bit of organisation. As I said, work in progress, 100%. So, Moving on back a bit, there's my bag. Now, the only reason I mention my bag is because I did a bit of research for this, and I went to the North Face store. Yep. On one of those, and I got myself a North Face roadie because I wanted compartments for a cheap price. I paid 50 quid for this bag, and it's probably the best bag I've ever had. So we've got compartments in here. We've also got a pen compartment, because all the others were just 2 pockets, and then that was it. And I didn't want that. So this is very much a good for everything, apart from one thing, which I sort of fixed myself. It's also got enough size for a laptop bag, because as you can see, I used to have a messenger bag there, and I might go for another one after this. However, this one was really good for the money, and I got this about 2 years ago, so I can't remember off the top of my head why I got this specific one. I think I was just looking at all of the bags, maybe just the North Face, because I also wanted, I think it's Carhartt, but they're like, I don't know, I think seeing everyone with Carhartt has put me off, definitely. However, I've never really seen like seen these and be like, oh, this is the same bag as mine. I don't think I've ever seen anyone with the same bag as mine, even though it's North Face. However, North Face does make good stuff. So the only issue is when I first got it, is that there's no padding at the bottom. I just sort of fixed that with a jumper. And whilst we're here, the watch I'm wearing, since I'm sort of into my watches, is just a Seiko 5. It's not a Seiko 5 Sport, that's the newer one, but it's an automatic movement, fairly basic, a workhorse nonetheless. I've also got my watch box there, but there's nothing interesting. As I said, I want to use my second channel more, so when it comes to stuff like my everyday carry or my watch collection, that will be a second channel video. However, I will show you those cameras up there, which are obviously for my work. So if we go pan this way, we've got a bit of sort of show and tell here. We've got a couple of boxes. We've also got Saturn. We've got Dreamcast with the Dreamcast controller. 2 pots there from IKEA. I actually bought them from IKEA. And then a PlayStation logo, which I got from B&M for £15. Normally they're about, what, 30? But I do prefer that one, even though it's plastic fantastic, from the rest, just because of the colours. I love the OG PlayStation sort of colour palette. And then we've got more personality here. We've got a Universal 11th Doctor's sonic screwdriver from the Wong company. Not the Wong, the Wand. We've got a TARDIS mug, which I lost the top 4 from work experience. We've got a 3D printed Lapras. We've got Sonic, Mario, Samus. Just sort of Sonic and Metroid are like my 2 favourite game franchises. So they're all amiibos. However, I do plan on getting more action figures. We've got a Gonzo, for some reason, a Lego Gonzo. And then I want to say Dialga. Don't know Pokemon that well anymore. One of the Gen 4 legendaries, Dialga, I think Palkia is the blue one. Binders, don't use them except for storing legacy stuff like homebrew, and I think that's drawings. I've also got all my photo prints in there. These are actually pretty sick. So these are meant for the bathroom if we want to focus. Do we want to focus? They are. These are for the bathroom, really, but because of how small a bedroom is, it's really strong and it doesn't smell too sort of like sanitized. This is apple spice. It is a really good scent. I probably have to get a new one, but when you've left the room for a good like week and then you come back to it, it's just such an inviting smell. And honestly, it is worth getting just for a room alone. Just put it in a corner, it will do its job. Now these 2 right here, I don't have a place for them, but basically someone was getting rid of these ceramic pots. No, they're not even ceramic, they're just pottery, and I just couldn't say no to them. This one's more for soup. It's got seagulls and flowers and it's fairly light, but because of the size of it, it's good for soup and noodles. But this one's quite funny. I relate it to more of a biscuit tin, but when you open it, right, now I haven't cleaned over here at all. That's literally just Christmas presents, books. Let's actually go into the film cameras first. No, that one's not in the box, but this one is my latest pickup. It is a Pentax K1000, if it wants to focus. Oh, there we are. And it's got, I believe, a 35mm lens on it. And even though it's basic, it doesn't need a battery, which is something I've really wanted in a film camera, because I want to sort of, one of my projects being just going all out there, using instinct, Sunny 16, all of that jazz. And this is the camera that I'm gonna use for it. And obviously I need to work out if it actually works, because I'm not 100% sure if the seals on it are fully intact. However, for it being late 70s, it's in really good condition. I like it. I need to check if the battery in it is not corroded to shit. But yeah, Pentax K1000, lovely little camera. I've got tons and tons more, but I can't think off the top of my head how many I have on me. 4, 5 at a push. So let's move on to the desk. So we've got my Lam Z1, I think it's called, NetMD mini disc player and CD player. It is a gorgeous bit of machinery. It really is. It's a shame I can't utilize it more because I don't really have a hi-fi setup. But as soon as I get a pair of speakers, I'm going to be connecting it all to the PC to that. And also now I know how to use the NetMD, I'm going to do more of that with my mini disc burning, just for like playlists and sort of lo-fi background music. Now, I've never really done a video on mini disc, and I've always wanted to. And obviously the mini disc being the inspiration for my channel logo, I think I owe it to them. So that's upcoming at some point, but it's not really in the forefront. I've also got a basic Walkman here. It records, but it's not got any special attributes to it, and it only takes AA's. It's nothing, as I said, nothing special. You can't really. It's only really any good for just sort of regular playback. It's got no features, as it were. It's also light as shit. Moving on, we've got camera batteries, Werthers for the car. We've got just sort of 2 little plates. I saved that from a house someone was selling, and me and mum were cleaning it, so that holds some sentimental value. Also, my TV at home was theirs. There's also another tray with coins. Yeah, I work at Costa. Gonna have to cut that, aren't I? Sunglasses. These are my favourite sunglasses. They're a bit dirty. I also have a case for them. Don't know where the case is. There's the 2 remotes for the 2 lights. I'll quickly show you my lights whilst we're here. So I've got 2 there. One for the backdrop, including that one down there, and then one is facing the back of my head whilst I'm sitting down. And then these 2 will be facing me head on, that one and that one. And I tend to just have all the lights off and then just all of these on, unless I'm doing an unboxing. I might have this one on, which you just turn off from there. Baby wipes, good for just cleaning down things before you use them. Got into the habit of that during COVID, so you always need a pair of baby wipes, even though they're not good environmentally wise. I need to work out what all these are doing. These books, I think a lot of them have notes in them. I think that's remember to put for, yeah, so just random stuff there. Power bank, I did a video on this one. Again, don't think a lot of people watched it. The cool thing about this one is that for some reason it has a lightning port. Now, I'd rather have that over micro USB, but it's not exactly useful. It's only, how many milliamps? 60-40 milliamps. It's all right, I guess, isn't it? As you can see, I've got so many plugs. However, they're in a really awkward position. As you can see, that's a Japanese import. Yeah, the Sony, that is. There is a plug for, that's the charger for my laptop. We'll get into the laptop as we move along. Pen holder, another pen holder. I tend to use mugs as pen holders just because I never drink out of them, especially when I get them for Christmas. I had a Coke earlier, but this is quite a nice mug in there. These little tote bags, I use to hold all of my plugs, my chargers, my portable ones, also all of my sort of like USBs and flash drives. This is the tripod I use to record sort of when I'm sitting down with the camera. It's like a 60s sort of tripod. It goes really high to be fair. However, I don't think I'd use it more than just indoor use. I also love the design, German engineering. Who would have thunk it? This is also a pin board, as you can see by the pin on the board. Got a wireless charger there. I've had that for ages. It's a fast wireless charger. I haven't found anything to replace it. However, I am going to at some point. There's my microphone, the Rode NT Mini. As good as it is, I can't find the adapter to put it on sort of like a microphone stand, so that might have to get replaced. Keychron K2 V2, made another video about that. A fairly decent keyboard, however, it's not what you'd call sort of like enthusiast. It needs lube on the spacebar and on the enter key, but it does RGB. It just doesn't have an app, so you can flick through it all. There's the Switch and Switch Pro controller. You can also see a GameCube controller. Actually haven't played much Switch, purely for the fact that online is so difficult to play at the moment, just because of the area that I'm in. I'd have to get wired, which is why I've been playing my gaming PC more. I've had this desk mat for so long, so long. It's fake leather. It might need replaced at some point just because of how dirtied up it is. However, currently it's serving its job well. Same with these headphones. Obviously there's room to upgrade with literally everything, but if it works, it works. Why do you need to change it? These are fairly decent for what they are. I paid £50 for them. For £50 they are really good. They just get slightly uncomfortable after a while. Again, this is all my drawing stuff. This is sort of like to-do lists. This is where I draw my designs, pencils and all that. I use the Magic Mouse and then the Basilisk as my one for the PC, one for the Mac. Both of them are equally as good. Xbox Xbox One S. I never play that unless it's speedrunning Sonic Unleashed. This monitor, I don't have a lot to say about it. I think, as I said, I'll do more of an in-depth thing with a fully edited setup video. This one has DVI 1080p at 60Hz. For what it is, for getting it for a fiver, and it's LED, I think it's pretty good. Now, this is where I keep all my film prints, by the way. Scans. Let's move on to this MacBook and then the PC, and then we'll do, so I won't go through the jaws. I'll just quickly say pants, nerdy shit, boxes, we're all good. Also, with the lights, an extension cable that runs down there to a sort of multi-USB port, because these are all USB for some reason, except that one's connected to the PC. Anyway, MacBook Pro. I have a love-hate relationship with this MacBook Pro because it had absolutely launched the way I edit 100%, obviously using Final Cut, obviously being on Mac OS when I got it was brand new, in a completely fresh environment that wasn't an old MacBook Pro, that wasn't an old iMac, state-of-the-art display, and then the M1 came and completely ruined it. This was 2 months after I bought this for £1,300, and then they came out with the M1 MacBook Pro, which would have suited me better. So now I'm in two minds. Do I get an M1 Pro or do I wait? Nothing's exactly wrong with this. I'm not having any issues with the battery. Everything that's sort of gone wrong with it has been sorted or isn't a problem, i.e. the backlight on the keyboard. Some of the LEDs underneath have gone out, but unless they affect me typing, not an issue. It's just regular Intel stuff like getting hot and rubbish battery life. I think as soon as I can justify to get a new laptop, I will, but for the meantime, this is good enough. As I said, as you guys know, not a big YouTuber when it comes to video editing, so I don't need a lot of power at the moment. But if I do need power, I've got this right here. Also I've got an Explorer Guitar Hero controller because I play Clone Hero sometimes. This is a fairly decent, I'm going to say mid-range, mid-tower gaming PC. It's got a Ryzen 5 5600X. I know you're going to kill me for this, but 24 gigs of RAM, 980 Ti, and as you can see, a 550 watt power supply. It's never been an issue so far, so I can't justify getting a higher wattage PSU for the 980 Ti. However, when I do decide to upgrade, it'll be a fully modular, and alongside the power supply, I think we'll put all of the, I think at the same time I might even upgrade the GPU. It'll be all going into a new case, because this is the case I had in my old video where I showed you my gaming PC originally that had a Pentium and a 960. In fact, I've still got the 960. So this is basically sort of the remains of what that was. And it's sad really, because I couldn't find the acrylic side panel for it. Otherwise it'd be completely fine, but obviously it's not ideal, and you know what, it upsets me a little bit because I wish I kept it. There was nothing wrong with the machine, it just needed a new SSD. It kept on crashing because I think the Pentium was overclocked, but that's about it. Apart from that, it's done me camera bag. It's got a couple of film camera pieces, and I keep these two shoe boxes just in case I need to ship anything off, because I do like using shoe boxes. It isn't just a mini fridge. If I open it, it's got all my film in, and that's that. That is So that, guys, is basically my setup. Room tour. Said before and I'll say it again, it is a work in progress. I'm not 100% happy with it. However, it is an awkward space. There is a lot of space, but there's not a lot of practicality to it. And maybe I'm not using it efficiently enough. There's just sort of a lot of wide area, but then not a lot of place to do cable management, except for there's two. If you can see that, there's one down there and there's also one down there, but I don't know why there's one up there. I don't know why there's like a little sort of hole in the corner to put cables down unless you've got lighting on there. But apart from that, that is about it, my friends. If you do have any questions, I will answer them in the video, because, oh yeah, I will quickly show you this. Because if it's stuff like, you know, these lights here, what's the best way to do them, especially when you're in a situation where you can't use the Wi-Fi? These are literally used by remote. They're not as long as I want them to be, however they are fairly decent for the money. I think I only paid about £8 for them. Absolutely banging me. So apart from that, I think that's about it. I did say I was going to show you the film cameras, so I'll quickly do that now. This is my Olympus Mu 2. And this is my Reaver 125 zoom, Minolta, Konica, whatever. And this is just all little bits and bobs. If you want a little fat, oh,